Good evening, Sooner Nation, Surgeaholics. It's a wonderful Wednesday here in Oklahoma. Hot as always in the summer. As Lori says, hit the freaking like. As Monty says, hit the like. As others say, help these guys out. And then the bomb's dropping in here with hit the like now. Wow, commanding bomb. Thanks everyone for being on here. Appreciate everyone as always. Obviously, today was another Go Boomer tweet, Hunter. They picked up Bella Smith, many of who they thought they might be getting in yesterday's Go Boomer tweet. Happens today, and that leaves one spot, which I'm sure we all know who that's hopefully going to be. But also they get in football Sooners land the PWO of Hutton, center, 6'3". Main thing there, Hunter, I guess, is he's Fasusi's buddy. So whatever that means, if it means anything.
Well, 6'3", 315 as a PWO is, I think, a pretty good get for OU. Yeah, teammates of Michael Fasusi, so Louisville connection there. Maybe that plays a factor in that recruitment. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know, but
yeah. Yep, Uncle Charlie, you're right. Two Bellas. Isabella and Isabella. Maybe one will go by Bella. I didn't get to see the Athlon guy on SEC, Mike. That's something I got queued up to watch because I want to see kind of their predictions. So maybe that's something we can really focus on tomorrow. Bomb says, in Fasusi, we trust. We'll see on that. Compared him to Eric Wren, man, that's a name that I have not thought about in a while.
I saw I can't remember who tweeted it, but somebody was tweeting about that whole commitment that he talked to Eric Wren and talked to Bill Bedenbow, and then everything got done there. So that's a pretty cool story. I believe Eric Wren, again, can't remember who tweeted it, so I can't credit them, but looked up to Eric Wren before committing to OU.
Yet, hey, there's two ways of looking at it, Greg. And a lot of people said the same thing with Kelly Maxwell, that, well, if they wouldn't have had her, they wouldn't have won. Well, if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, it'd be Christmas every day. I hope, look, whatever they do, yeah, obviously the goal's a fifth natty, but it's a lot more likely with Kennedy in the circle. And again, it's her decision whether she wants to come here and keep this thing rolling or if she wants to knock it off with and in that streak. The decision is hers. We'll find out soon, I hope. I hope sooner rather than later. I know, Hunter, you think maybe she's going to wait till after Japan. I think it's still going to be before.
I would be absolutely shocked if it's anytime soon. It's going to be...
I'm leaning towards tomorrow. Go Boomer tweet.
I know you are, but I think you're wrong on that. I don't think there's any chance she commits right now. What's the rush? Why should she commit right now?
Before you go to Japan and play, just get it out of the way.
I don't think a lot of players, agents specifically, don't think of it in that way, Jerem. They're, oh, yeah, we got a time away. Okay, let's do it after. Not they don't ever want to rush it before a trip like that.
Oh, it's going to be insane if she does, but I think it's going to be sooner. If she does come here, it's already going to be insane at Love's Field. The battle series is going to be unbelievable this year. Maybe more highly anticipated than last year's. And of course, Bobby's dropping some info there. But hey, Hunter, I was going to mention the July 1st schedule, the celebration schedule came out. Did you take a look at that?
Briefly, I saw the stuff a few weeks ago. They have the breakfasts in Tulsa, Oklahoma City, obviously the Glow Run the night before, and I know Greg Sankey is making an appearance Monday night now, but that's
9:30
really
at night.
Yeah,
is he going to be there? Or is it a Zoom type thing?
I'm assuming he is going to be there, and it's late because he's probably going to Austin first.
Correct, but the Austin one is the day or before, 2 days before.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't I really
My
haven't.
sister lives in that area, and she said it's like the day before they're doing the one here.
Yeah, I've kept up with. They're doing the glow run. The spring sale is back now. It's summer sale. That's
Right.
gonna be massive. Can't imagine waiting in those lines though for something
Oh,
that they haven't had in what 3 years now, 4 years. It's been a
I
bit.
would. I'm still thinking about going on July 1st. I just want to do some of the evening stuff, some cool stuff there that they're going to do. Hey, which twin is stronger? I would say this if Jay was on here, and I'll say it when he's not on here, which seems like a cop out. We used to arm wrestle, and it'd be a tie. We'd go.
Here
It'd be
we
30
go.
minutes.
Here we go with
It'd
the
be
story.
30 minutes. Our strength was right in the middle. We're identical twins, dude.
I want to know if you've told viewers that story before because I feel like you have.
I don't know.
I've heard
I'm
it a
better
lot.
at him in most things. He is older by 6 minutes, though. Hey, elite players do it on their own terms, Jerem. You know that. I'm confused at on their own terms. I think she is going to do it on her own terms, and I think she's going to. Personally, my opinion is it's going to be before she goes to Japan. I don't really follow. I'm not on any insider pages as someone dropped on here, but that's just what I would do if I were her. I'm not saying that's what she's doing. The other thing is Jay's on vacation. That's where he's at, Lori. As Night Train Lane used to say, Hunter, he gone. But hit the like, Lori. Hit the like. You got to deal with me all night tonight. Well, at least for 30 minutes. Colin says how to build a team. Up the middle. Catcher, shortstops. Yep, that's always been their strength. And if you look at what they got, it's better than what it was going in with the portal entries, who they added up the middle. So they definitely added some experience in all three of those areas.
Yeah, those were the three, three. Sorry, positions of need in the field, and they've went after all three. You have Abby Dayton in center field, 400 hitter, very talented glove. You have from the transfer from BYU. Sorry on the name Ogbanani. I said that wrong. Very talented shortstop, can also pitch. And then you have Emmerling from North Carolina, who has some pop. 14 home runs last year. Pretty good behind the plate. Pretty good fielding percentage, like 985 a year ago. Her bat's improved a lot from redshirt freshman year to redshirt sophomore year last year. So they addressed all three of those needs.
Yeah. And I love what Bella Smith said today. She's going to fit perfectly. And Florida is making tons of moves in the right direction. They're going to be one of the teams to beat. Are we talking about on Bama? I'm assuming you're talking softball, Kyla. They haven't done a lot that I've heard of. Okay. They have not done a lot that I've heard of. And Brian, I get what you're saying, but just because you're saying that she's going to wait because she can, that doesn't really mean much to me.
There's no rush. I don't know why you would rush a decision.
If you know what you're going to do, you're going to say it. Why? I mean, it's not rushing.
Well, I mean,
if I know what I'm going to do, Hunter,
it's called leverage.
It's not rushing. If I make a decision, it's called a confident decision.
Okay, but there's also leverage involved. I mean, there's an agent.
I think she knows already that.
Okay. I mean, I disagree, but get to John Powell real quick. Excluding Lowry, who are considered the top three freshmen coming in. I think Tia Malloy has to be at the top of that list. Very talented, younger sister of a very talented softball family. Her dad was a Pro Bowler, played in the NFL for like 15 years. I think Katie McKay is also on there, Jerm. And you agree with that? And then kind of one more name.
Here's what I would say. Obviously, Tia Malloy's on it. Audrey Lowry, we're excluding, so we can't say Audrey Lowry. The other name I'm going to throw out there is the number one player in the state of Oklahoma. Locally, it's Cheney Helton. She offers a lot. She's got speed. She can play probably anywhere in the outfield. She's a great track athlete as well. I just think, and then there's some sleepers. Gabby Garcia, people aren't talking a lot about. Sydney Barker, but man, It's a
I
good
think
class.
I think with the entire class, you couldn't go wrong with uh, three making a list of the top three players in that class. I mean, everybody is so talented in that class. Sydney Barker was #8 player in the country. Didn't even mention her just now. Corey Hicks, very talented catcher. First baseman Riley Zakay, same deal. Was committed to Missouri before flipping to Oklahoma. There's so many different options you could go down with top three players in that class.
And Kyla's talking about football. Look, I mean, part of it is a lot of people aren't talking about Alabama nationally, and that's kind of natural because of the Saban thing. Look, DeBoer is not a guy that people talk a lot about. His personality, the charisma is, I mean, he was at Washington in the national title game. People didn't know his name. He was in the Pac-12 championship game. He beat Oregon. Dan Lanning, he owns Dan Lanning, and people did not know of who DeBoer was. So I think part of that is natural. And probably, Hunter, if you ask DeBoer, he's okay with it. We'll find out. People are going to talk about Bama or not talk about Bama. They have not done a lot in the offseason. If you remember, though, Hunter, didn't they lose some guys that entered the portal, but then they actually came back to Bama?
That was one player in Caden Proctor. That was it. Most talented offensive lineman in the portal. Freshman that I think he was a freshman All-American, was arguably the best offensive lineman on that Bama line, which is saying a lot. He was a true freshman. They lost Caleb Downs, another talented true freshman on the defensive side of the ball, arguably the best safety in the country, to Ohio State. But yeah, they did get one of the biggest transfer portal entries to flip his commitment back after a few months at Iowa.
Right. And yeah, Brian, I don't think anyone's forgetting Nellie McMarinas. I think she's going to be the third baseman day one. That's my opinion. Hey, I know Eric dropped in the Discord, and I don't know. I haven't seen Dalpois on here yet, but Dalpois sent you an email earlier with another link for the Discord. If you hop on here, I'll make sure I get that to you. Eric dropped in the Discord about the blue chip ratio, Hunter, and that Ole Miss and Missouri, they're not near the top. And this is one reason. I know I'll speak for Jay because I can, because I'm his twin brother and I can say what I want for him. But he would say this right now if he was on this live, that Ole Miss and Missouri, people, Jay, me included, I'm sick of hearing about it until they do something. And yeah, I know they got guys out of the portal, but.
Real quick on that blue chip ratio, was transfers included, like their recruiting status, when they enter the portal or not?
I'd like to ask Eric.
I think that could change a lot of things, possibly for Mizzou and Ole Miss. They would obviously be at the bare minimum a little bit higher, if not. Okay, it was included. Okay,
it was included.
That helps a lot. So OU was what, 73%? I remember Ohio State was #1 at 90%.
See, there's conflicting reports because Bobby and Damon saying it wasn't. So here's the deal. Ole Miss and Missouri, in my opinion, until they show that they can do it, you can't say that they're going to be top 2 or 3 in the SEC with some of those other teams. Now, you can say the same thing for OU. Until they do it, you can't say they're there. But I'm just saying that Ole Miss and Missouri, on paper, Hunter, I think those games are probably a 2 or 3 point spread in Vegas for the home team. And if it was in Norman, OU would be favored. That's what I'm thinking right now. They're pretty much toss-ups. And you got to win those games. OU does, with who they have on defense leadership.
Yeah. I think also for Ole Miss, it's they are in a little bit better of a position. With last year, they went 10-2. You don't have Alabama on the schedule this year. You have Georgia. It's last year, I believe they had both Bama and Georgia.
But
correct?
They have Texas this year, don't they?
They do not. They're playing Oklahoma. They don't have Texas.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Georgia, Oklahoma, and there's one more tough one. It's about 3 games, Hunter. There's 3 tough games.
I think it's LSU.
Yeah, that's probably it. LSU.
But
Hey,
look
and
at what
here's
they added in the portal. I mean, they improved significantly from a year
but
ago. It's at LSU, OU at home, Georgia at home.
but they did lose some guys in the portal.
They lost some, yes, but they had a better
I mean, they
return.
lost a big time running back,
Okay, they also picked up a
and
lot of players across the board. Walter Nolan, best defensive
yes,
lineman in the portal, safeties, linebackers. I mean, they picked up a lot across the entire board in the transfer portal.
and here's what I think about Missouri. Look, I know Hunter, you were so low on Missouri last year. Drink,
Yeah.
you were, and Drinkwitz proved people wrong. I just don't think it's going to be a 2-year thing. I think when now the expectations are high for Drinkwitz and this team, I'm not sure they're going to live up to the billing. Last year, they were under the radar most of the year. People were still like, I don't know about this team, and they surprised them. Can they do that when people are talking them up? And the other thing is, Lane Kiffin is a better coach, in my opinion, longevity, than Drinkwitz. So if there's a team that has the best chance, it's Ole Miss over Missouri.
Yeah, real quick, back to the blue chip. Transfers are not included in the blue chip calculation. So I think that is why those two were not in the, I think it was top 16. Florida just missed the cut at 49%.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting that wasn't. Yeah, big Orange, Tennessee, great championship series against A&M, and they're yeah. Let's see what happens in football. I think OU and Tennessee is the biggest game of the season early on for OU to see where they're at. Eric says it is, Hunter. If you scroll to the bottom, I don't have it in front of me because I'm on my phone doing the live.
So is it a separate list? Okay, I got you now. I got you. Yeah. Sorry, I was looking at the first list. They are still not in the second list. Second list, OU is at 63%, as Eric says. Okay, I got you now, Eric. Sorry about that. Did not
Yeah.
realize that the article continued after that.
And again, I know, Eric, you were talking about in there, and I know others have said there's no excuses. Look, I'm not here to make excuses for an Oklahoma football team that's loaded defensively with veterans, a mix of veterans and first-year players who can make a high impact early on. I'm not here to make excuses. I'm not here to say, well, they're in the SEC. There's a learning curve. Stop it. That can't happen. You can't go into the season thinking, well, this is just kind of a tryout year to see where. No, this is a year that they should, in my opinion, be in the playoff. Like, I don't, for people to say, and I've heard insiders, I've heard other people nationally, but I've heard it more from local people, Hunter, say, well, maybe 8-4 is a good spot for this team. Stop it. No, that you cannot have that attitude going into the season.
Yeah.
Why are people? It is because of Jackson Arnold. I know that's what it is. And the O-line. They're not sold on that.
Yeah.
And Latrell with the coach.
I mean, look at last year. There was losses to Kansas and Oklahoma State. That hadn't happened since in the John Blake era, I believe. It was a long time ago in the mid-90s when that last happened. You played bad after UCF or against UCF, sorry, after Texas. It was really a 3-week stretch of bad football. That's the biggest deal is. And then you look at the SEC schedule. I mean, even the lower end teams in Auburn and South Carolina, I think they're a lot better than the average team you're going to play in the Big 12. That's something you also have to consider. I mean, Jordan Hare is not an easy place to win on the road, regardless of how good or bad Auburn is next year.
Right. You're not going to run the table. You're not going to win games by 20 in the SEC very often. You've got to be able to win close games. And Dalpois, I sent you an email right before I got on the live with the Discord stuff. See if that link works. I apologize if it doesn't. Let me know, though. Stay in communication and contact. Yeah, it was dusty. And again, Eric, you're right. Stop losing to teams you should be beating easily If you lose to a couple teams where there's a pick 'em game, I get it. You cannot lose to those teams that you should be beating very handedly. And frankly, Kansas is not a tough place to play. I don't want to hear about conditions of that game. Both teams played in it. To me, what OU has lacked under BV, Hunter, and I'm just going to be frank here because I can be and I usually am. It's the killer mentality. It's the killer mentality. I don't know if that had to do with Levy, if that had to do with kind of schematically what was his mindset, if it was too finesse, but maybe Seth Luttrell brings something differently. But even on the defensive side, when you have a chance to put things away, you got to do it. And they listen, they had a great defensive stance, Hunter. We've talked about this. They improved short yardage unbelievably last year on defense. They improved third down conversion against on defense. But it's got to keep those two areas got to keep going. Short yardage and third downs. You got to keep improving those.
I think, though, last year when it mattered the most, defense got the stops they needed. They had the stops to win it at Kansas. They had the stops to win at Oklahoma State. I mean, the defense can't play offense as well. And again, look at what this defense is returning for Oklahoma. You're returning pretty much everybody other than, Bothroyd and then one of your safety starters in either Reggie Pearson or Key Lawrence. And look at who you're replacing them with. They are replacing them with better talent. Honestly, they're adding Dominic Williams as well. Danny Stutzman going to be in talks for the Butkus Award. Billy Bowman going to be talking again for the Jim Thorpe Award. They have so much talent on the defensive end. A lot of snaps played. Woody Washington's back for Oklahoma as well. It's year 3 under Brent Venables. The defense should be. You look at how it's been for Brent Venables before, and before at Oklahoma, then at Clemson. Year 3, you really start to see that jump. It's a steady jump, and then year 3 is really where it starts to take off.
Yeah, and this is it. This is the put up or shut up year. Robert, I would say the O-line is looking better than people thought because Garen Hatchett seems to be playing, doing some good things. EPL is there. We'll see if he's able to, add anything this first year. But I would say OU's offensive line today, June 26th, is better probably than where they thought it might be at this time. Depth-wise, player-wise, strength-wise, but we'll see.
I don't know about that. They did add Branson.
They added Hickman, man. He wasn't there.
Hickman was, yes, a big addition, but they also lost Troy Everett for.
He's going to be back, they're saying.
Yeah, he's going to be back, but he's going to miss most of the offseason, if not.
I don't think he was a starter anyway.
Okay, well, that was kind of the route they were going on at the time. But again, it's spring ball. How much are you going to take that as absolute fact there?
Hey, Colin, the guy was Sean Hutton, okay? Fasusi's buddy. Maybe they land Fasusi now. I don't know. I'm not sure, but yeah, 1 5-star would be unbelievable. 2 would be phenomenal. You got to get 1. 1 is a must. 1 is a must.
That would be stacking on arguably the best recruiting class that Bill Bedenbaugh has brought in for Oklahoma last year between Daniel Akinkumi, Eddie Pierre-Louis. You have B.J. Brooks. I'm forgetting someone. Josh Isosa. There's one more.
Yeah, and hey.
But a very talented offensive line class, and you have the potential to land a 5-star or 2, probably 1 at most, but they're in on a lot of 5-stars right now. And they also have Ryan Foje, who was very underrated at the time when he committed, and is going to just continue to climb up the rankings.
Yeah, and I see Monty says keep it civil. Here's what I'm going to say about this, and I want to keep harping on this. First off, I appreciate everyone on here who listens to us every single night. Whether you're an OU fan or not, I don't really care because I like to talk and I like to argue with anyone. I also say I probably disagree with you, Eric, more than anyone on here. And actually, I call you out quite a bit. But when it gets, there should not be any personal attacks anyway across for anyone. So, yeah, keep it civil. And, yeah, appreciate you guys watching. But I'm going to keep disagreeing, and I think everyone would expect me to. But I also get that sometimes, and Hunter, you can agree with this, I probably let some of the comments go a little too much with me, and I probably highlight some. I don't need to be highlighting some, but hey, that's
Real
who I
quick,
am.
Thunder making a trade for pick 26 just now. So Sam
What
Presti,
pick are we on right now?
it's pick 26 right now. So Sam Presti is up to something.
Yeah, Bobby, there's not many shows that show as many comments as we do. So we're going to keep doing it because that's what we do here. That's really what we're here for. We care about that. One more coming, Bobby says. What was that in reference to? Oh, the wide receiver core. Yeah, there's one more. There's going to be one more. That's absolutely right. Absolutely right. Hey, how fun is this going to be during football season, Hunter? Because it's you, me, and Jay have had some knockdown, drag out arguments on the phone over football. I know these lives are going to get pretty fun and intense, but that's because we're all passionate and love the game so much.
Yeah, a lot more to talk about in the middle of the week before an OU game than June 26th in the middle of the summer, where you're kind of picking at straws for a topic to discuss for 30 plus minutes on just OU football.
Yeah, and hey, X's and O's is what I'm ready to talk about. I am still curious how much Seth Luttrell is going to change things at all, because Jackson Arnold talked about it's a lot like Levy's system, and there's some different nuances and niches. I want to see what those are, because in the spring game, you could not tell. You could not tell.
There wasn't a lot there in the spring game. I think a lot of it's going to be kind of more of a reliance on an H-back, possibly get the tight end a little bit more involved than it was a year ago, run the football quite a bit more, I would say, than a year ago. I think we talked about it. I can't remember who said it. Maybe it was Bobby, like 55% was the number. Maybe it was Eric. Can't remember. That was a while back. But I think it's going to be a kind of a run-first scheme, not as much of that fast tempo, 1 minute, 2 minute drives that you had under Jeff Levy, because playing like that in SEC is tough. I don't think that's a recipe for success.
Damon says more true tight end play, and that's a position we all want to see more. Did we lose any current receivers to the portal after the spring game, or did we keep them all?
Gavin Freeman, that was it.
That's only one. Freeman, who I would say most Sooner fans are not going to miss him after the punt. And that's an area, Hunter, we again, once it gets closer, we'll be able to figure out maybe who that's going to be. But is Des Malone going to be returning kicks, punts? I mean, is it Petaway? There's a lot of talk about the new receivers. There's a lot of talk about who's there. Petaway, Brennan Thompson aren't mentioned much.
And then returning punts, Peyton Bowen, one of the best returners in high school. Saw him fielding some in the spring game, kind of in warm-ups and all that. I think that's another viable option, especially if he's not starting at safety. If the two that are out there for series number one is RSJ and Billy Bowman, you can throw Peyton Bowen out there, and that the approach to special teams is interesting. I've always thought the way Brent Venables talks about it, because before, can't remember when, one point he was like, it's about the extra yardage you could get, and then kind of after the season, a little bit different. He's went a little bit back and forth between the two of them, the two approaches on extra yardage or kind of the injury concerns, or it not working in the way that it was last year for Oklahoma. There was a lot of issues with ball security on returns. There was a lot of, I think, fans, especially coaches, probably holding breaths when the ball's in the air? Are they going to catch it, or is it going to be a muff punt that could be a turnover on downs?
Yeah, and here's why I want guys like Boganowski, Reggie Powers. I would love to see these guys on special teams hitting people and getting them on the field early and often. Then you also don't have to worry about injuries for maybe some of those starters next year. I'm all for that. I hope they do that. I do say I saw someone talk about Jackson Arnold. If he's struggling a little and they're winning, there's zero chance they're pulling Arnold if they're winning. I don't think there's a chance they're pulling him unless he's hurt. I frankly, you guys know my take on this, and it's not because I love Jackson Arnold. I'm just saying.
Stop real quick. You're saying Jackson Arnold is playing 4 quarters against Temple?
No, I'm talking about the question was if they're struggling, if he's struggling but they're winning. I'm saying they're not pulling him because he's struggling. They're not going to.
I mean, they could.
Yeah, I just don't see that.
It depends on how bad he's struggling. The biggest.
Jalil Farouk didn't get pulled. There's a lot of guys who haven't gotten pulled.
He fumbled multiple times.
I don't think they're going to yank Jackson Arnold. And I get it. Spencer Rattler was undefeated, Hunter. Spencer Rattler was undefeated that year and struggling. It's the same type of thing if you want to say that, but it's not going to happen.
Hey, real quick, NBA talk. Oklahoma City Thunder. 5 second-round picks for pick 26 to take Dylan Jones from Weber State, 6'7" forward.
At least it's a forward this time.
Yeah, averaged TJ Eckert a double-double in his final 3 seasons in college. So that's
I don't
good.
get too caught up in the NBA draft, Hunter.
Did you watch it at all tonight?
With my sons, I watched a few picks, yes.
What did you think of it?
I'm here to tell you, Zach Edey is better than you think he is. Hey.
No, not. He's not. It's not going to work. That's a terrible pick.
Hey, what is BV's buyout? I don't even know.
I don't know. It changed. That's not something that's really been highlighted a lot. I couldn't find it when I tried to find it. I don't think that they're going to need a buyout at that point. But
there's Nate Kearney. Is Nate related to Chuck Kearney that's on here? Or maybe Zion Kearney? I don't know. Hey, 5 days, July 1st, OU is SEC bound. Again, that link was put out, I think, by Sooner Sports today. I saw it somewhere. It's got all the celebration stuff. Sooner Sports, yeah. So check it out. It'd be a great event to go on. Bronny probably will get drafted tomorrow because, of his name.
Hey, first year that there's round 2 getting its own night. That's kind of interesting. Don't know how that will really work other than, years when you have somebody like Bronny James possibly going to get drafted where a lot of people are watching on who does it. What are the ramifications of if he gets drafted by somebody not named the Lakers? Does LeBron go sign with him in free agency to play with his son? So it's going to be an interesting night tomorrow.
Yeah. I think the jury's out on if we have better clock management. And I'm going to say you cannot blame all the clock bad mismanagement on Jeff Lebby because Brent Venables.
Okay, Brent Venables. Okay.
Gotcha. Brent Venables was bad with clock management. He was bad with uses of timeouts.
There have been a lot of head coaching mistakes in the first 2 years with timeout management, kind of just situational deals, timeouts especially. That's the biggest killer where you would save them. He would save them all in the first half and then burn them early on in the third quarter to where you're playing a good chunk of the game with only 1 timeout remaining. That also affects you if you have a challenge. You lose it, then you're out of a timeout. It's just a lot of mistakes made in the first 2 years. I think that's another thing you have to look at is you would think year 3 that should be significantly improved, especially in the SEC. There was times last year where bad clock management, bad timeout usage could have cost OU the game. Thinking with the
Yeah.
way the schedule looks this year, if you do that again, you're going to lose the game because of it.
Yeah, and Matt says get one of the analysts to do it. Yeah, hey, before we get off here, everyone in the chat, yeah, I'm transitioning to softball really quickly. I know Mark was on here earlier. I know he's been very vocal. The bomb has. Does OU land Nigeria Kennedy? I'm saying the chances are, put it percentage in there. I say it's 95% chance, and I'm saying it's within the next, I think it could happen as early as tomorrow or as late as Friday. That's what I'm saying. Drop it in the chat, everybody.
Yeah,
Hunter, what's your feeling?
I'm not going to act like I know where she's going. I think that there's probably 5 schools that it could be still. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. I think it's going to be at the earliest mid to late July.
I'm an orange juice guy. Appreciate everyone being on here tonight. Thank you for being faithful to the channel of the Sooner Surge YouTube channel. Mark does say 45% before Japan, 65% after. You know what that means? That adds up to, what, 100? Hey, I like those odds either way. Actually, 50-50, Teresa says. But, yeah, heard she was with Lauren Chamberlain. Hey, it would be Patty Gasso-like, though, Hunter, for the last edition to be the big fish candidate. We'll see if it happens. Appreciate everyone. We will be back tomorrow night to do this some more. Okay. See y'all Thursday night. Till next time, we're out. Boomer.